Alright, this was a really bad idea, but I did learn a lot from this experience. Never do it like this again. This is way too complicated, and then in a sense, it's also like copying a lot of shit over and over and over. Like, you'd kind of want to put these water things like at the end here, so you're only calling the textures and stuff one time. But I'm retarded and I've got it going like 4 times, so yeah, I'm working on fixing that. Plus, I've optimized the UVs. I have one that's not optimized, mid optimized, and fully optimized, and I'll go through those in a minute. I've since like removed the height and the slope mask, and I've just run them through with the Vec 2, and I still have them being able to be pulled out, so you could use them over here, like if you wanted to mask out whatever, for like caves or some bullshit. Not really sure. I'm just trying to keep everything intact and still keep most of the functionality of it. Which is, this is the best way overall that I can think of to do it. And then let's just look under this. I've since minimized it a lot, taking out the UVs and stuff, because the UVs, like I said, we'll talk about those in a minute, was probably the most expensive thing. Sorry, I'm still a little sick. The UVs were the most expensive thing. It had, each one of them had like 6 sines slash cosines in it. Like 3 sines and 3 cosines. And that's stacking them up. Because the sines and the cosines, I believe, run like 16 points. Like, you cannot tell on the shader graph. Hold on. Where was I at? Let me save this real quick. Now, I did go through, this is the fully optimized one, but the caveat with the fully optimized one, you lose all control of everything. Let's start with the unoptimized one first. As you can tell, we're running each individual thing on its own, which is taking a lot, and then these sines and cosines are like 16 points apiece in the calculation, but yet it's not in the stats here. You'd have to go to like Shader Playground or something, but I don't know. I'm not using Shader Playground right or something. Every time it gives me a bunch of fucking errors or something. I think it has to do with the textures that I'm actually trying to provide, like going up here, shader code, and then pulling it out, copying it, pasting it in there, and it's just giving me a bunch of errors. But either way, this is the unoptimized one. Unless you wanted full control, you wouldn't want to do it like that. This one gives you yet the most optimization, but yet and the least like hit to control. This is the only thing that you don't get to control fully on all 3 of them. The UV rotation. It's if you like combined all of them, like if you pack the cosine and the sine together, and you run them like this, you lose the ability to use the UV rotation. But for an optimization, it's not too bad overall. Taking away 4 of these, and then still giving you the ability to control every aspect about the UVs right here that I had before in the unoptimized one. And at that rate, if you understand anything, you'll probably get where this fully optimized one is going, which I don't really think it's that optimized or whatever. I mean, it is, because you're not having so many values, but you lose all control of the ability to use to control all 3 of the UVs at the same time. You have to, whenever you do the value, it controls all 3. But yeah, I've since found that big one was a really bad idea. Great learning experience though, and I'm still glad that I did it. But overall, this is better, and the name would be a little bit better, base, because it would technically be the base, and you would plug everything in here, And then, or like the water one, you would plug it in at the last one, so it would apply it to all of them, and you wouldn't have to run like 4 or 5 different water textures over and over and over and over. But just me being retarded. But I think that's the best that I can optimize it so far. Like, unless I wanted to delete values, which honestly I don't really think I want to. The control here is pretty good, and I like it, so I'm going to use it as the base. I don't think, other than like giving these a name and like putting them like or putting a thing above them like this normal value, putting like slope input or slope and height mask input right there. But other than that, I think this is the base that I'm gonna use overall, and I think it's the best of both worlds. It still potentially leaves me the ability to control everything the way I want it. And I can change these on the fly or whatever. Like, and you would argue, well, why wouldn't you just like plug them all up into switches or whatever, and like whatever. But like, if you have them at least in here with switches and you turn them off, it doesn't matter. Still, your performance is still hit because it's still being calculated, at least from what all my testing has shown. You have to get rid of it or you have to move it. And optimizing the code behind the scenes was probably your best option, and then working on some other optimizations like I was doing, like overall, if you weren't using this, now this is probably not much of an optimization, but if you look at the shader count instructions and stuff, you could tick this off, and if we apply it and save it, as you can see, we lose a few. I think we lose all these instructions right here because we're not using that or whatever. Now if you do it inside, I don't think it does. It does change some numbers a little bit, but not much. I don't know, but I might be wrong, I might not be, but it still leaves you the ability, if you didn't want to, you could just delete them all and it would fully take them away, and unplug it if you weren't using it and just delete it so it wouldn't be there. And how I've done the UVs, which like you can see, I kind of had it set up a lot differently, where you just use a switch, and if you weren't using the false and the true values or whatever, like they just wouldn't work or whatnot. But I've since rolled it into inputs in here, and I've named it with the channels and the value, or the, well, true or false value or whatever, so I can know what it is in this thing and plug it in accordingly, and then I have them named here properly. But yeah, just the struggle is real, like building something that big just to be let down that it's so heavy, like, kills your frame rate. Which didn't really kill my frame rate. I still got like 120 frames using this big thing. But I don't want to reuse values and stuff. Like, this is too big. And later on, I guess maybe I might do, well, I might just do this video and do it on this video and wait to release this video and do the final testing at the end, having them all hooked up like I have here, and actually going through checking these numbers and then checking the actual frame rate on the scene right here, like this. Now this one is my master auto landscape, whatever. This one is that one, so I am technically, well, I was getting, oh, I'm recording, yeah, I'm getting close to 120, but I am recording, so it is kind of hitting me a little bit, but it doesn't matter either way. I still get 120 frames here, but I do not want to have all of that unoptimized stuff. Now I could go in and probably optimize it a little bit better or whatever, but I'm still running these values. I'd have to take the water out anyways, like, which I've done here. So I just think I'm just gonna go ahead and use it this way, That way if I want optimization, non-optimization, I don't have to have it. If I want it, I can have it. Fully optimization, then there, boom, done. That's about it. I've been rambling too much, but take it easy. Have a nice one. Peace.